set of numbers were operationally in line. The fourth quarter, we saw a strong performance in the oil and commodities business, the O2C business as they now call it. Retail did beat estimates with a 25% sequential revenue growth, but then it's a question mark this quarter. Jio was the subdued performance, both in terms of ARPU, subscriber additions, some of which we already knew, of course. Jal Irani is also with us, as I told you. Good morning, Jal. Is there anything in the results that is not yet priced in, Jal? Anything that should move the needle today?
Sure. So, Lata, at the outset, I hope you and your family and everybody at your end is safe. On the results itself, I think you've highlighted the key things in a bit. But I think one of the standout things for Reliance Industries has been that the gas business is coming back with a big bang. Reliance has commissioned its second sort of area in the KGD6, which is the satellite fields, which is large production, 1 quarter ahead of schedule. And even its earlier commissioning of the first part of the field in December is ramping up very significantly. So that has certainly been an area of significant positive surprise. I think also on the O2C business, while we don't have actually a breakup between refining and petrochemicals anymore, I think the petrochemical business has been doing exceptionally well. And my thought is that actually the O2C business as a whole, including refining, will do actually very well going forward as well. Because unlike the first quarter of last year, where you had global shutdowns and demand issues, this time while we may have some domestic demand issues, Reliance will export higher, export higher quantities, and to that extent, production shouldn't suffer materially. Also, higher oil prices generally tends to benefit Reliance Industries in terms of a margin increase. So I think there's been a lot being said about some of the other businesses, but these are a couple of highlights worth adding.
Okay. Jal, good morning. Great to be listening to you on the show today. And, then therefore, let me ask you this. If you did see some pleasant surprises in the O2C business, then can that become the next trigger for the stock? Because it's been in a tight range for the past several months. It's been really languishing. We know that the tariff hike doesn't seem to be coming anytime soon. And, one doesn't know how retail will be as great going forward, considering the lockdowns. So can O2C provide a fresh kicker, or is it already in the price?
So I think on one part, you're right. The O2C business could be a material positive surprise during this year. But there are counterbalances. Excuse me. The counterbalances, essentially, for example, the retail business is showing very significant signs of weakness. So Reliance highlighted during its presentation that actually the footfalls during April are down to 35% of pre-COVID levels. This is even lower than the 43% in the June quarter of 2020. And the second thing is that on the Jio business, while one is building in a fairly significant profit increase, needless to say, some of that will come from a fair bit of increase in customer additions. But to have that significant profit increase, Jio needs to increase tariffs by as much as 20% today. So therefore, my thought is that the shift of profits is likely to be significant into this year, especially into the O2C and upstream gas business, versus you may even see disappointments in retail and the Jio business significantly this year. So at a net level, perhaps you're not going to see a very big difference. Also worth noting that the very heavy valuations which the market is giving is actually attributed to the Jio and the retail business. Now, if that disappoints, then you could have not only an earnings miss there, but actually a valuation derating from very high, heady levels as well. Just to give you a further idea, a further thought on that, we believe that the market is actually building in a 30% CAGR earnings growth for the next 10 years into the geo and retail business, which is a very tall ask. Now, therefore, the market is not valuing current earnings, which is really the case for the O2C business, but a significant hope value. And if that hope value begins to get shattered, then you could actually, while the earnings may not get impacted so significantly, the valuations may actually get impacted significantly.
Okay, so Jal, at the moment, do you think the stock gains at all in the hope that the O2C is doing well, and the demerger as a separate company is sooner rather than later? Will that keep the stock agog? What is your range, or what is your price target?
Sorry, when you mean the demerger, are you referring to the potential
listing it separately? Yes.
Business to the likes of Ramco?
Yes, that, and possibly potentially listing as a separate company.
Well, okay, so both are really a function of at sort of what value that happens. I think in the O2C business, there are reasonable valuations that are built in, and there could be scope for some positive surprise there. And frankly, it's very difficult to say. And similarly for the retail business, if I'm not mistaken from memory, the business was done at a valuation of about $63 billion. I mean, the 10% stake sale. While difficult to say where consensus is, but I think the consensus is much higher, maybe in the range of $80 billion. And similarly for Jio. So the question really is at what valuations this is going to be done. And do remember now that all this is about a year back. So arguably with the time value of money, these valuations are, so the listings, the demergers need to be done at higher valuations than even those valuations. And my point is that at least for Jio and retail, the valuations already were quite heady.
Okay.
In the case of O2C, it was at the moment it's reasonable, and there may be potential for some positive surprise.
Re-rating. All right, we leave it at that. Thank you very much, Jal Irani, for joining us. Prakash, do stay on. We have to take a quick break and get our technical strategies as well. Mitesh and Srikanth will be with us.